It's a joy to be with you here on this Wednesday. And today is a special day for us here at Falls Baptist Church. Tonight is our Veterans Day dinner. And I would appreciate your fervent prayer about that today. If you can take a moment, because we'll have between 100 to 200 unsaved folks here in our building, and the gospel's going to go forth, and really eternity is at stake for these folks. And I always want the Lord to give me that perspective whenever we have something like this. Well, I want to take us to 1 Thessalonians chapter 3. And many times I have mentioned that one of the ways to get out of discouragement or out of fear or out of a negative just attitude is to start living for others. Because everything I just mentioned comes when our focus is on ourselves. When we're focused on ourselves, we get fearful. We do get discouraged. Things just don't go well. That's life, and we're certainly living in a day that's getting more and more difficult. I can't believe how much more the world is in turmoil than it was when we started this, when we thought everything was really a crisis. And it's wonderful to know that God keeps us going even through those kinds of times. But to get over those kinds of attitudes, we've got to give of ourselves. And you see this kind of heart when Paul is personally greeting the Thessalonican Christians, and he says in verse 10, night and day praying exceedingly that we might see your face and might perfect that which is lacking in your faith. You see his desire to see these believers go on to completion, to perfection in their Christian life. He lived for that. And we know that he lived for that because he says night and day he's praying exceedingly that he can come and continue the work that he began months prior in his ministry with them. That means that these folks were clearly on his heart. He had given himself, as it says earlier in the second chapter of this book, that he had given of himself and labored night and day so that they would grow and that they would be all that God wanted them to be. And now he's praying exceedingly. This is a strong statement that he could come and see their faith, because he wanted to help them in areas that they were struggling in so that they could be completed in Christ Jesus. The Apostle Paul was many times in a disappointing situation, and yet you find joy, you find encouragement, you find purpose, you find just a sense of cause that motivated him. And the reason is he wasn't living for Paul. He was living for Christ, obviously, and to live for Christ is to live for others. Well, I'm telling you, right now, if you find yourself just a little bit overwhelmed and fearful or whatever it may be, just ask the Lord, what can I do for somebody else? Lord, give me the strength to pray for somebody else. Give me wisdom on what I can do to edify someone and build them up. Folks, if we live for others, then God will sustain us, because we are living then for the very purpose for which he saved us. Oh, may God help us to have that kind of attitude.